This book was recommended to me by a marketer, and it said, hey, this is probably one of the best marketing books you would read. And I was like, okay. So I actually joined Ryan Levesque's group, Ask, for a while, and it's like a $97 a month group, similar to Sandy Krakowski. And one thing that I know that stuck out about him is that he actually learned how to speak Mandarin.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure that's a freaking whole different character. That just seemed like that would be extremely difficult language. But he taught himself that. And I was like, man, this is a guy that's a deep thinker, which actually how the book starts off. So Glenn Levison, I can just say Levison, PhD. So he said it was back in 2008. He went to the mailbox and he saw a letter, and it had a $100 bill, and it had a check for $500 inside. And the reason why, but before I even go into the reason why, that right there grabs your attention, which is what Ryan Levesque is basically talking about with marketing. So he wanted to get inside this group that Glenn was running, and Glenn actually returned the money back and said, I can get you in. But he said that this is the type of mentality that Ryan has. They actually went on a 12-hour walk. And during the 12-hour walk, they kind of basically came up with this formula. And it starts off where Glenn is actually describing who Ryan is. He says he's an aggressive student, willingness to play the long game. He's very focused. He's basically just saying that this guy is a guy that really goes after something. And actually he ends up, he kind of did a Russell Brunson move where he actually started working for Glenn Levison, whatever, and actually and he was receiving some good reviews. So that he kind of starts it off like that, and then he goes into this whole formula. Now, before I even go into what the Ask formula is, because he doesn't really talk about it just yet, what does everybody think the Ask formula is, just by the name?
The Ask
formula, yeah.
Oh, I would presume that I haven't read into it very far, but presume that the ask is to ask the client what it is I can do for you. That's what I thought it was. Is that what you meant? Is that the question you were asking?
Yeah, but yeah, I just want to say, just by the name itself, what did you guys think it is? Does anyone else want to give a stab at that?
I think it has to do with asking the right questions. To find out what you want to know.
Asking the right questions to find out what you want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's maybe also like having the courage to ask, and maybe like figuring out in some ways, like asking the questions, but figuring out what the person wants without asking it like this. But how to say this, like having, it just might, but I'm probably entirely wrong, but the idea of figuring out what the person wants by asking indirect questions too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here, because actually on his site, I went to his site and I actually saw, and I want to see, does this better explain what this is? All right, give me a second here. All right, so move that over there. Now this is his site here. This is what you arrive to when you go to the askmethod.com. All right, so I'm going to give you a hint. So what you'll see right here. So here's what he has, a free download, which we've learned before is a good way to start building your list. So when I click on download now to get the Ask Method blueprint, here's what happens. Now, can somebody tell me what they see right here?
Click funnel.
Yeah, that's what it is. But he's segmenting his audience. It's a
Yeah.
reverse engineer of a funnel. Instead
All right.
of putting the funnel out where it has, like we learned with Russell Brunson, where it has multiple paths because of what the user chooses, he's going ahead and just knocking out all the hard work by simply asking
Yeah.
these
Okay.
questions.
Now, can you explain a little bit more, Sean, about segmenting your audience for everybody that may
Well,
not know?
that just gets into where, like Veronica, she's into furs.
Mhm.
There's only really, and remember we talked about that sometime, like the customer avatar, the buyer persona, and all that. The dream customer. She has several different types of dream customer, possibly. One of them might be a woman, certain age that likes to buy furs, likes to read about certain places like that. Another one might be a man that likes to buy furs for his wife or girlfriend. I mean, but there's anybody under the sun may want it, but they're in the data, there's probably several different trends that will pop up above the kind of like cream time and time again. And that would make really her buyer persona. By asking these type of questions, it kind of speeds up the process and kind of lets you know what that buyer's persona is. And that's the way as I took it.
And to take that deeper, whichever one of these that you click on, I'm sure there's a series of emails that match up to that ideal client that are sent out to, like for instance, I'm just going to read these because these are important. I'm thinking about starting a business online and I'm looking to choose what market to enter. So that's a new customer. That's somebody that probably would, maybe the product that would fit them would probably be a course.
Right, and they're brand new. They're green pea. I'm thinking about it. I'm in like the consideration stage.
Yeah, and he's not even they're probably not even ready to even talk to Ryan. This customer here, he has to build them up. The second one is I recently started my online business and I want to get more traction. And then the next one, which would probably speak directly with Ryan and maybe get coaching. I have an established business and I'm looking to take it to the next level. Now, what I see in this list is this is going to save him time. Does anyone know why it's going to save him time?
Yeah, because each of those people need a different message to close them.
And the ones that are hot traffic, it's immediately qualifying them.
Exactly. That's how you qualify your customer right there. So he's not even going to speak to this person because, hey, I'm not going to waste my time with somebody that's starting the business new. I'm not going to, and this could work in real estate. This could work in.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking is I'm thinking about buying a house. We've been looking at a house. I need a house yesterday.
Yeah. Or I want to sell my current home.
Right.
Anything like that. So you know exactly who you're talking to.
It really lets you know which category they're in, what list the customer is going to be on, as potentially, yeah.
Yeah, what list? Exactly. That's exactly it. All right. So then this is something that really grabbed my attention right here. I have it written down here. Since with this ask formula, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen. He has generated 3 million leads, 200,000 customers, which in turn has came up to be around $100 million just with this formula. So that lets you know how powerful this is, and it's pretty much done automatically.
I know Kia pulled his team in as far as they actually had them go through, and because there's something huge in the automotive industry called CSI. And that's what salesmen get fired or live by. And that's basically when you go in and buy a car, that whole survey that they give you after the fact that you fill out, was it a good experience? Like if you get too many negative ones, it doesn't matter how many you're selling, they'll fire you. But I know Kia pulled him and his team in to revise how they do surveys and things of that nature. So I mean, it kind of shows you really the power behind that.
Yeah. So he said when he first started this and he used this ASK formula, it helped him and his wife with a little business that they had. He actually, it helped them make $10,000 a month. And then it also took them from, in another thing, it took them from $370 a month to $24,500 a month. And we're talking automatic here. When I was inside his group, there was a business that he had that I thought was very interesting. He actually had a tulip business. He was teaching people how to maintain their tulips. And he was charging $9.99. He didn't know anything about tulips. So you may ask, like, how does a guy who doesn't know anything about tulip, how is he in a tulip business? Mm-hmm. He literally went to Fiverr, found the most, the best articles on tulips, and he had a blogger. He hired a blogger, and he had them write 52 blog posts. Do you know why he chose 52?
52 Mondays?
52 weeks of the year?
52 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
So it could come out every week. And he charged them $9.99 a month, which is basically the business model of Planet Fitness.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is amazing.
But he's had over, I think he said the number was 27 different niches. So I just want you to visualize that for a second. He created the tulip business, and he's not a tulip expert, and that's one of his businesses. So $9.99 a month. Let's say he has 1,000 clients. How much money does he make?
Nice.
Times 27 different niches. So he's literally making money in his Spider-Man underwear.
Nice.
Wow.
I looked up his I was trying to find his net worth yesterday, and I could not find it online, which is very unusual.
Mm.
Can you ask who we're talking about? I
Who?
mean,
What's that, Veronica?
who we are talking about?
Oh. Welcome to the 5 a.m. book club, Veronica. Today we're reading.
It has begun.
Today we're reading the book Ask.
Oh, cute.
She said, who are we talking about? But so I just
Yes.
I want to stop there for a second. Now, 27 different niches. He's using a formula to use in every different niche that he's doing. The same formula. And what does everybody think so far? Well, what I just said about the 27 different niches, and he's applying his formula, and it's working for him, and it's bringing in all this cash.
Thinking we need to pay attention to this guy.
I think it don't have nothing to do with passion, and we play too much and waste too much time. I don't even want to be on here. I gotta get niches done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not even, I just mentioned the tulip business. When I joined his group of $97 a month, there was probably about 500-600 people in there. So he was making that money per month, just providing us more information of how to take what we kind of learned with this book and then put it into play. So in part one and part two, he basically just kind of talking about his story of how he actually started. And he said the story basically behind it was back in 2000, I think it was back in the days, you used to be bombarded with about 500 ads a day with radio and all this other kind of stuff, maybe billboards. But he said, and this was back in 2006, and this number is higher than it now. He said, you're bombarded with probably about 5,000 ads a day. So if you're not focusing a lot on your attention, of grabbing your audience or your niche's attention, you're going to be smothered in all of that noise. So it's kind of a, what's that?
I was going to say, Abdul, that's 2006. So if you think about it, 11 years later,
Yeah.
and that's 5,000 ads a day. 11 years later, that $5,000, 5,000 ads a day,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
can't even imagine.
Yeah, we didn't have Facebook ads in 2006.
Triple, it's
No.
triple that. Probably. It's 15,000. I have no idea how many it is.
Well, does this anybody help them understand how important marketing is?
Oh gosh, yes, it's huge. I just realize it is. I know it is.
Mhm.
Like,
So-
like your business can suffocate if you don't really know marketing or have somebody in your team that knows marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
And what you say and
Mm-hmm.
how you say it.
What do you mean by that, Pat?
Well, you have to be very specific in what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Just an example yesterday.
Yeah, quick and
Yeah,
clear.
give us an example.
You want to talk about what happened yesterday?
What did happen yesterday? Oh, why don't you tell that? I don't remember the whole story.
All right. Well,
Speaking of quick story.
all right. So I met this girl, and long story short, I gave her some information that was very helpful for her to get some Indian fabric that she needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave her my card, to help her. It wasn't any kind of real estate thing. Well, long story short, so yesterday, or whatever, a few days ago, we were out in the hills, so I got back with her. But the end thing was, I told her, if you know anyone who is interested in buying or selling property, please let me know. That's kind of what I said. That's not really what I said, but something like that. So then she emailed me back, and she said, yes, I do, by the way. I do know someone who's selling. It's my next door neighbor, and he's a realtor, and he's selling his property. And I'm like, okay, that's not how I got my message across, because I don't want another realtor. I want
Mm-hmm.
someone who's not a realtor.
Oh,
I went over it with Chuck yesterday about my message, what I said to her. And that's not really what I said. I could get my phone out and say exactly what I said to her. My message was very clear to her, what I said.
Well, we thought it was clear.
We thought it was very clear.
thought it
And
was
actually, I was going to ask Dana if she could stay on, and I was going to, go over my message with her of what I said. But I think your message has to be very specific and very clear and concise, because apparently I did not get my message across of what I do.
Yeah.
I think that is because this has happened multiple times where people have contacted us back. Yeah, I know where there is a house for sale. It's like,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
want one
and
that's already
it
on the
turns
market.
out that it's a house that's already with another realtor.
Yeah, that doesn't.
And it doesn't, and we go to networking groups, and that'll happen too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, don't you understand that I'm a realtor? And I'm not sure if they don't understand how the process works. And I'm not here to educate them. That's,
We're not asking right.
yeah,
Is that our elevator speech? Is that our elevator speech? I mean, when we do something like that, because I do the same thing has happened to me a couple of times, Pat. That's probably because I haven't got my elevator speech.
and this was in writing, and I certainly could read you. It's like, a very short little thing. But it just wasn't precise enough.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well-
I think be very, very clear as to the message.
Mhm.
I agree with that, Pat. But this lady that you told that to, was she a real estate agent?
No.
No. And that's the thing. And you're right. Not only just to be clear, but make sure when you're marketing that the person you're marketing to could potentially use your product or use your service.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not just saying something to you're not trying to get a Muslim to eat pork, if that makes sense.
Yeah. In this case,
No.
she was looking for a referral.
Yeah. So, like I said, he talks about, there was a website he calls, they use this formula, fuzzyyellowballs.com. I'm going to pull it up here. And he said that this site in 6 months went to making $250,000 with this formula.
Mhm.
I couldn't believe that.
What is that, Chuck?
That's just amazing to me. You know, the examples that he's giving are just incredible. Very compelling.
Yeah. Fuzzy yellow balls.
Fuzzy.
I'm sure the guy that sold the potato, where he signed a potato with someone's name and shipped it to him, did this too.
What did he do, Sean?
What?
You don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
There's like a big internet craze for a little bit. A guy launched a company where you would basically send in, and he would autograph a potato and send it to someone as a gift.
No, I never heard of that one.
He made a ridiculous amount of money. It was like it was insane.
Okay, so we're here at this site now, and I want somebody to dissect it so we can basically absorb this info. Does anyone want to read this?
Can you really add 10 to 15 miles per hour to your serve with this one trick? Hint, it's all about eliminating your number one power killer. Take the power killer quiz and find out.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like it.
Oh, now it's all screwed up.
FuzzyYellowballs.com. I love it.
But
Oh.
what he's saying is that the ask method is on here also. And this is a niche. I mean, this is something about, there are definitely tennis players out there. I would say the avatar is probably people who want to learn how to play tennis. And it's enough of these people in this niche to make sure that this is a profitable niche. And I'm just kind of looking through it to see, can I specifically see the ask method on here? Now what came down was an opt-in, and it asked two questions. It said yes or no. So that right there, he was building his list. But maybe somehow in here, like maybe after that, maybe the first email would be a survey or something.
If you guys like that pop-up, that's a tool called Opt-in Monk. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it helps you build your list. So the biggest thing here, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share here, is the way that he's actually doing these, getting people's information, like what we saw first, where he was asking those 3 different questions. Has anyone ever heard of a survey?
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean like online, like a survey that you could use for your website.
Yeah, they're popular.
Mm-hmm.
Survey Monkey, like.
Survey
You know what
Monkey.
you're saying?
Survey Monkey's one. Also, does anyone see the reason why you need to have a survey for your website when someone lands on your website? What do you think a survey could actually do for you?
Understand what people want, what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for segmenting your database.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because based on their answers to the questions, that you can put them in categories.
Yeah, and getting for sure contact information. If you can get them to take a survey.
And that's just if you ask them about that. You could ask them about the website that they're on, if they, if it was to help increase your UX.
Right.
What do you mean, Sean? Explain it a little bit more.
Like just like when we went on there earlier, how you had the download off to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you went through and followed through with it. You could easily ask a question: is this type? Is this what you're looking for? This type of the ask method blueprint checklist. Kind of like you segment the audience before, or ask a different question for someone that's still a little bit more green pea and they're not ready to dive into it quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like
No.
how the pilot website, they determine your level of experience
Right.
right up front so that they
Mhm.
can start with you at an appropriate point and so on you.
Well, you'll
Yeah.
generally find there's 3 questions in these surveys. These
Yep.
these ask surveys, and it's because there's 3 stages in the buyer's journey. And that's literally what you're asking. You're
Yep.
identifying which part of the buyer's journey they're in.
Hmm.
Because
And-
like it's really important to identify where the person is, because you can make yourself such a fool. When you either in the real life or online, it doesn't matter. When you come to the person and say, hey, I have a great opportunity for you. And that person might be already making 10 times more money than you are. Like,
Mhm.
you have to research well. Because you know how people, Abdul, people reaching out, I just want to say this example, how people like reaching out, I think like all of us once in a while getting these people who just starting out, like, young entrepreneurs, they're probably not making any money yet, but they say, hey, I can take care of you, I can show you how to make money.
Right.
Mhm.
Dude, you got to do this. I'm glad we connected on LinkedIn. If you spend 30 hours a week, you'll make an extra $500 a month.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you read my profile for you visiting me?
Mhm.
It's
But- So what the Ask method is doing so far from what we know is definitely, he's saying that it's the ability to be able to take cold clients into paying customers without you picking up the phone, without you doing those kind of things. And it kind of does it by the way of putting, like, when I saw the 3 questions, I thought, okay, there's a beginning, there's an intermediate, and there's an expert. And he has a series of emails for the beginner course, series of emails for the intermediate person taking the journey. And then maybe with the expert, maybe he's taking on a journey, and maybe that at the end of that is maybe high price coaching or something, right? So I want to go around and ask somebody so we could make this real time. What questions could you ask in your business for your survey? If someone came to your site and they immediately come, what 3 categories could you divide them in?
Okay.
I think houses are pretty easy. I think real estate's easy. I mean, as far as the questions go. Like, is this your first home? Are you looking for a home in town? What price range are you comfortable with? I mean, I just feel like there's pretty unlimited options there.
Yeah. And then also, are you selling your home?
Yeah, are you selling your home? Are you buying a home?
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at becoming a realtor? Like, there's so many.
The answer is always yes on that.
Yeah.
Looking to become a realtor?
Oh my gosh.
Which,
I had a
by the
nickel.
way, I thought we had a lot of realtors in St. Petersburg. Man, I'll tell you, in the mountains of North Carolina, there are a billion realtors. We met with some brokers up there that we know, and their market is brutal, Dana.
And they do billboards up there.
Guys, are allowed to do billboards?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're allowed to. It's just, in different markets, people typically market different ways. But up there, like every billboard is for a realtor.
I think you guys would look great on the billboard.
Oh, I think so too.
I do too.
Whereas, like in our town, it's not common for realtors to be on billboards.
Right. Have you guys standing back to back with the,
That's exactly
the
true.
black and white with the, Chuck's got the orange tie and her orange hat. That'd be a badass billboard.
So I might be skipping ahead, Abdul, but once you have your question, you put them in the category, and then what happens?
Well, you mean once the person arrives at your site and they see the 3 different questions and they pick which one they are, and then they give you the email, what happens?
Right. So I guess my thing is, I'm sorry for all the noise, the rain, but I guess I'm asking that you put them on in these questions. You have to know based on how they answer, what to tell them.
Yeah, I mean, let's walk through it. So, in your situation, which one do you want to use an example? The branding or coffee?
Coffee, of course.
Coffee. So, what would be the services that you would offer? Do you have like 3 different services that you could offer?
Probably, yeah.
All right, let me hear them.
So one would be a coffee bar, one would be just a barista, and the other one would be just coffee.
All right. And which one would be considered like a beginner when they're first dealing with you for the first time?
Just coffee.
Just coffee. All right. So I would just imagine, I'm sure you've had that conversation with that client before. I would actually draw like an avatar and maybe come up with some emails of like, what was the first, maybe what are some concerns that they may have? You could solve those concerns in the email. What are some things that a person like that will buy? Would they just buy coffee? They don't need the service? I would kind of put that out. I would make an avatar for each service and generate emails according to that avatar.
Yeah, I'd like to interject on that, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, on the person who just may be interested in having very good coffee, your emails to them might be about how to have really great coffee at home, you know, how to make it, what things go with it. I'm not really a coffee person, but, you know, things that focus on the home, whereas somebody who has an upcoming event, your emails to them might be about how to have a really great event. And
Don't forget your Seinfeld emails either. Like, you know, like a story about how CJ was trying to grind up the beans and the grinder exploded and the coffee went everywhere on your fresh wax floor. You know, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because each one of those different customers has different needs that you can fulfill. So the person just looking to have really fine coffee at home doesn't care about how to make their wedding reception better.
That's true. That's true. You kind of understand that now, Yolanda? CJ, what about you? What are 3 different services that you could offer in your business?
The video, photography, and then the event production services.
What was the last one?
Event production services.
Okay. So if they came to your site, they could have those options, and whichever one that they pick. What's an email that you could send to the, let's say, the photography one?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And if you can't think of anything, but that's the kind of the mindset you need to wrap your head around, and maybe that could be a phone call so they could reach out to you and you could book the event, or maybe they may have some concerns or something.
I still feel the same way I did when I was reading the Russell Brunson stuff. It's in one part it feels really simplistic to do. I get the concept. The other part is it's all overwhelming picking a starting point. Because as you said, I have to target the beginner, the intermediate, and, you know, a professional. And then you have to, like, Seinfeld emails and pattern interrupts, and it's just like, it's so overwhelming, and then I don't do any of it.
CJ, I have an idea for you. You can, in photography, you can send an email. Well, how was your last experience when you hire an amateur to take pictures of your important event? How did you feel when you saw how your pictures turned out after your wedding was shot by a sports photographer? What was your wife face when she saw she was a bride that was shot from her back? You know, and kind of tell a story. It's actually a real story here, but like kind of relate to some funny and dramatic story of something you can't return and it was important event, and you hired somebody who shoot you, you know, like was an iPhone, or who was a wrong, like is not a professional photographer, or different specifics photographer. Like on my wedding, I was shot from my back. That was very interesting. Like I had a couple nice pictures. Like I did have some beautiful shots, something I can show my son. But a lot of times I had a sports photographer who did our wedding because we had like no money. So it's like all the wedding, like all this beauty, like was shot from.
Was CJ? I'm sorry, Veronica.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm saying now I got to repeat the whole experience at some point.
I like that. I like that beginning.
What'd you say, Chuck?
I got a good subject line for you. TJ said, "These photos make me look fat."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also,
But see-
mhm.
CJ, have you ever thought about, you mentioned the word overwhelmed. Have you ever thought about waking up one day and say, look, like that story that Veronica gave, I'm sure you have some photography stories of something that went bad or something that went well. You could sit down at your computer and write out one email and then go watch some TV, go read a book or something, whatever. Then the next day, maybe you get up and write another email. Because the thing about the email sequence is that once you write it one time, you don't have to write it again. It's done. So the next person that comes on that list, they'll get that message.
Yeah, and then later on, just organize them into some kind of a program.
Because pretty soon, I mean, maybe you're only going to be writing
Right, which
about.
still brings us back to the whole funnel.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but all of that only works if you have your funnel built out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have a funnel built out.
No.
Why do you have to have a funnel built out at this point?
Because the email is supposed to draw them in, right? That goes back to offering them something of value, suck them in, and then you send out the daily emails.
Yeah.
Isn't the reason you don't have a funnel built out because you don't have the emails to put out?
Right. It's the whole system.
So you have to start with one side or the other, and I think you're kind of the same position I'm at, CJ, because I'm feeling like, okay, well, I don't have this piece, so this piece doesn't make any sense. But you got to get something built at some point. So, whether you start with a funnel or if you start with the content, doesn't really matter. You're going to get one of them done. It's going to sit until the other side gets done.
Yeah. But as far as emails, like, for instance, that survey, it could be SurveyMonkey, which is attached to a certain list. And then with that list on the email service, you can write a series where you could write the first email I want to go out when they opt into this list is that email. Boom. So that email is going to go out to everybody who signs up for the list. So literally, you in a week's time, if you say I want to get 7, you do 1 a day, you could be done in a week. And then, like the sales funnel, to be honest, like you can put that up there, but like if you were running a Facebook ad and you wrote a message, what most people say is you're supposed to drive traffic to that funnel, and then they click on it and they can get the list, whatever. But you don't really need a funnel for this part. Because this is pretty simple. This is just a survey and segmenting your list.
CJ, you can hire Yolanda for that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yolanda can
I need to save up. I need to save up.
You need to save up to hire Yolanda?
Oh, boy, yeah.
Oh, I guess.
I have a suggestion, CJ. That Russell Brunson thing, and the reason I'm bringing this up, because you and I kind of think alike on a lot of areas, is for that Russell Brunson thing to make any sense to me, I had to sit down and kind of outline what I needed to make for the whole thing, and then kind of break it down into, okay, so, I need to make this, I need to make that, and then just start making the pieces. And I'm probably about a third of the way through making the pieces for it, but eventually I'll have all the parts to assemble it. And, it didn't make a bit of sense to me until I sat down and made an outline, and then all of a sudden I started to see it.
Y'all procrastinate, man.
Kind of like
there's 3 pieces. There's 3 pieces. You can get all into Lego land where you got a super spaceship, but there's 3 pieces. You got a squeeze page, a confirmation page that has an upsell, and then a thank you page. That's all you do. Y'all, you don't. That's the thing. Is it overwhelming? There's always a new shiny toy. Don't let it. Don't let it. It is not. Just do it. Nike, baby. Nike, baby. Just do it. Do it. Okay?
That is true.
I have a question, guys. I wonder, maybe for some of us who is just really very, in a way, new, or just, this is not like our strongest part, maybe it makes sense to hire a marketer, because it sounds easy from dealer Martech.
You make
Isn't
it
that what Brunson said? Okay, all right, yeah, this is my day job. But isn't that what Russell Brunson said literally in the book? Do you remember that?
Right. He said, learn enough and then hire somebody.
Right.
Those books was so you know what to look for so you don't get ripped off.
Right. So
Correct.
you
Yeah.
can learn, at least maybe you can understand the idea, but maybe because, you know, you're so good at what you do, like because we're trying to be like jack of all trades, like for me, I realize some things, and I've been doing a little bit, I've been like delegating a little bit and asking some people, because for me just to think about it, and, you know, I feel like I can make so much more money while I'm doing my thing, and I can pay somebody doing that. So I think it's kind of like realizing, understanding, so you don't get screwed, but maybe hiring somebody, because I honestly think I don't want to, like, people in some ways also like me, and I know CJ just like far away from this. I think he's really great at what he does, and it's just not his thing. And
Well, that's right. And that's really the thing about it.
Mhm.
I lost so much money the first 3-4 years, and really just when I say that, I don't mean by just money going out the door, trying to do something, as well as missed opportunity, because I could not delegate. I tried to go do my own graphics. I tried to go do, I mean, a lot of that stuff, it was kind of cool. That's why I have the foundation. It's kind of like a jack of all trades now that gives me the ability to play the orchestra.
Mhm.
But in retrospect, it was wrong.
Mhm.
It was wrong. I mean, because you get what I mean? Because you don't need to do that. That's not what you're good at. You need to be able to do what you're good at. And that's because this whole machine, the thing that powers it is something with passion. And even, okay, and you do got to have passion, but who says you got to have passion about something you know about? Ryan Levesque, he was passionate about tulips because he knew it was going to make him some money. Okay, and he's generally a cool guy. I mean, isn't he? He actually wanted. I guarantee there was nothing he was going to put out that wasn't going to actually help people. So yeah, he was passionate about it. But that's the whole thing, so that you can power the machine that goes through. Do not waste. That's what I'm saying. It's not that complicated when you hire somebody. Like anything else in life, there's beginning level things, and then there's advanced biometrics and stuff like that, where it's got a 37 cycle funnel. Just get a beginning funnel, pay somebody to do it. You know what you're looking for. You know what you're looking for in the copy of what you're trying to accomplish. It's going to be pretty. I mean, first 30 days, you're going to know if it's pumping or not. Whether you so I mean, it's not like it's like one of the hardest jobs I ever had in my life was selling radio airtime. I used to sell advertising for the radio. That's selling someone air on a promise. That's literally what it is. Because there's nothing tangible they can touch. How can they really gauge results? Do you get what I mean? So you're basically selling a promise.
Sean, could you repeat those three components? You got the squeeze page, and then you got what?
Well, technically there's two. You got a squeeze page and a thank you page.
Yeah.
If you're just gathering leads.
Yeah, but you had a middle page that you mentioned.
Well, if you're selling a product, you have a squeeze page, a sales page, or you have a squeeze page, a sales page, which is an upsell page as well, because you have the ability to do the bump. Then you have the thank you page. So say like on my pet product, they'll download a informal letter of intent for you to that you could fill out in case something happens to you, that the people know what to do with your pet in an emergency event. So they download that letter. They then go to a sales page that has me, hi, I'm Sean Wong, blah, 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 blah. And that little video, it's got the copy and the benefits. Get you our pet card right now. Click that, and you go to that. Boom. Now you're on an actual page. Give me your address. Give me your credit card info. Okay, boom, boom, boom. You go to that. You go to the thank you page that actually has a link. Says, hey, why don't you join this Facebook group? Because you're always at point. That's where it's continue to segment for the upsell. Go join this Facebook group. Does your dog collar? Does your dog have a tag? Would you want an extra tag? Do you want some stickers? Do you want some VIN stickers? Do you want some fire safety stickers for your window? Boom, 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 boom. That is a very that's a very. I mean, I know it really sounds overwhelming, but it's not, man. And you're never going to. You can read 19 of these books, and you're never going to know what works until you do it.
Yeah,
that is true. I would agree, because that intimidation can kind of keep you from even starting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's that's why I think that sometimes we should just stop being a cheapskate and or change mentality.
yeah. Wade in.
And Do it.
Water.
Yeah. Terrell, what could 3 questions be for you?
Well, one of them, I mean, I have those 4 different groups actually: guns only, situational awareness only, both, or and then I've got now online webinar or in person. So I mean, those are 4 boxes. But one of the questions would be, and I don't know, maybe this is too, I don't know, but it's like, does our morning news of our unpredictable world concern you?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Are you interested in learning an additional skill of safely handling and firing a handgun? I don't know. Those are pretty vanilla.
The message that, sorry, Adele, you was going to say something.
Oh, go ahead. Do it. Say it,
The
baby.
message that you were trying to hit was dead on target. The
Okay.
copy's way too long.
Yeah.
You condense that to a quarter of what that is.
Yeah.
And another thing on this type of campaign, anytime you have a different profit center, that's a completely different set of questions for each profit center. You don't
Yeah.
try to lump. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
Okay, because the way they would be coming in is the same goes in if you had a blog post about gun safety. These other profit centers might not, and you go to the blog post on the right-hand side, it has something, would you love to, learn how to take 15 seconds off your draw time? Something that, then you go to that seconds. Question would be, are you thinking about buying a gun? Do you already own a gun and maybe shoot once or twice a year? Are you an avid gun owner who goes to the range 3-4 times a week?
Mm-hmm. Or are you just a beginning shooter? Have you ever fired a firearm? I've seen people at a class that were freaking scared.
Something funny would be, we used to joke about this because all the gangsters and all that would be have a picture of how you put them in Weaver stance or have them hold like a gun like this. How do you hold a handgun? Right. Because that would eliminate, that'd be funny. It'd be a joke. People that actually have some training would respect that and actually build rapport. And then but if someone actually picked that, it shows you right there they're a newbie type person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all should hire Sean. These things are rolling off his lips like it's something that he eats, sleep, and breathe.
Oh, it's second nature to Sean. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He went from video stuff to gun stuff. I'm sure he can jump over to coffee stuff and real estate stuff. Sean, you're hired.
Glad you're back. Glad
That's
you're back,
right.
man.
Yeah.
I miss you.
So we know right now that could actually save us time right there, is just by dividing up our different segments of the different clients that will come into our world over here type thing. So, and Ryan is going to go in depth about this more, about the surveys and things like that. But right now, he just kind of giving you the backstory of how he has used this to transform his business. And from looking at the numbers, I can see that it's really transformed his business.
This is a killer platform. I will be honest. In the very beginning, it gets a little salesy. It gets a little bit of type stuff. You know what I mean? Just like most things do. But this really is. It does kill it. And it's honestly, I think the reason why this works so well is if anybody's ever read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
What is the number one focus of every living human being on this planet?
Mm-hmm.
Themselves.
Yeah.
Themselves. I mean, and that's kind of just, in the whole part to marketing is not, that's where we talked about this before. It's not about trying to do what you want, but it's about other people.
Helping other people.
And that's where often where people fail. So you're just cutting it right down and you're asking them, what do you want?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
John, when are you teaching your class on this?
I wish I could make
Because if you're not, you need to, big guy.
I get into it with so many people online, like Dan Henry. He blocks me and unblocks me twice a week. You probably don't even know who that is. I can't stand Dan.
I know it is.
Little punk dude. I smack shit out that dude. But
yeah, I know.
anyway, I'm tired. I've been
ready
thinking, I'm tired of making other people rich, man. I've got some products. We got some stuff that's in the lineup. I'm really going to try to do my own little thing. I mean, I got some money saved up for ad spend. I got some good digital products, but I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get away from agencies. To be honest, I'm trying to get out of the agency side because I love people. Don't get me wrong, but I'm tired of marketing for people. they don't understand what it takes to go in something. You know, I mean, like, especially like when you're building their website and stuff like that. Well, I want a, you know, a 3D hand to pop out the screen, you know, and stuff. You know what I mean? They don't understand. I would rather just create actual products like tulips. Make some money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired. I'm really tired of the car industry too, to be honest. But
Well, that's the thing that, and I think he's going to talk about it later on. He finds a niche that needs to be served, and he serves them.
This is so genius. This is so genius that he doesn't, so he understands the concept. He doesn't have to know about tulips. He reach out here, you know, he reach out here, he pays, you know, minimum for that thing to happen, and boom. So this is a genius concept.
there's something he put out. Someone asked, I mean, he came, like the trend came up, people wanted to learn about tulips. That's the only reason he did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like right now tulips are my passion.
So, who wants to volunteer for chapter 3? Because that's basically chapter. I think it's the intro 1 and 2, and I think the next one will be 3. So not everybody.
This right here, this tulip story, I can't do 3, but this story here really shows me how people don't succeed in business because they're all wrapped up in the emotions. It's my baby, and
emotions
my baby, and you know, I got to do it this way, and
I stream at
damn
people in
tulip.
Shark Tank at least once an episode. Take the deal. Quit being you can come up with 100 other good ideas. Take the 100 million. What's wrong with you? No, I need $500 billion for 10. This is my baby. And then next thing you know, you go Google them like later on, because that was like an episode 6 months ago. They got like 300 likes on Facebook, 4 reviews. No one likes them.
Yeah.
They should have put 100 million. That's what they should have said. Yeah.
You know, a good example of that is Pat Flynn. You know, Pat Flynn has a food cart niche, but he doesn't own a food cart. He basically just, because actually when on that site, they asked him that he talks about the businesses that uses philosophy, and Smart Passive Income is one of them. So, but yeah, so anyone tomorrow?
I'll do 3. Are we on 3 though, for sure?
Okay.
Or 2?
I think it's 3. I want to say it's 3 because there's part 1 and part 2. So
Okay.
whatever next is coming after his backstory, whichever one that one is. But I want to say it's 3.
Okay, after his backstory. Okay, yeah, I was reading yesterday and I fell asleep.
See, it's not your thing. You don't light that fire.
No, I
Chapter
do.
2, strange questions and strange answers.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all read that one yet?
Strange
Okay.
questions, strange answers.
Yeah, it starts off with a quote from Steve. It's really hard to design products by focus groups. A lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them. As a quote from Steve Jobs, how it opens up.
Yep, that'd be good.
So
Okay, that's chapter 2. We're on chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, check
I
that.
like that too.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard those before, but isn't it just always, you just got to hear it again. You've got daily reminders.
Well, the beauty, I think, and it really hits me in this, is just you read all these and it's all different languages and terminologies, but there's this foundation that keeps drumming in there, the boom, 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 out of all of them that you kind of see. And we you know, how tall are you, Veronica?
5'4".
I'm 6'7". So if you stood her right in front of me and there was a car wreck in front of us and you separate, you know, like it pulled us apart immediately and asked what happened, we're going to have 2 different versions because of just who we are. So everybody's got their own version, but it's like the foundation that you start singing drum. Once you understand that foundation, you can put your version on that, and that's where the real success comes from.
Yeah.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
that's true.
And
So does anyone have any closing arguments, things to say about this section?
No, this has jazzed me up for the book. I shared with Veronica in the chat room. I felt like I was kind of wading through sludge last night for some reason, listening to it. I don't know why, but this has got me started now. I think it'll be, I'm going to love it.
Yeah, this can kind of be that nerdy thing where people just like, okay, here's some money. I'm just gonna pay you, and you just do it.
Yeah.
But if you learn about this niche, that you can fulfill other niches than something that maybe you are passionate about, then the whole money thing. Because talk about 27 different niches that are
Niche
working.
hunters. Niche hunters. I know people, it don't matter what they sell, they know how to crank it out one way. And that's the thing about it is because with everything that you have, you might fail the first 3 or 4 times, but you're going to know in 3 weeks that it's failing. So you can readjust it. But I mean, once you get the foundation down, there's people, that's all they do is go out there and they're hunting for niches to churn them out.
Yeah.
Just to turn them out. But I mean, it's killing, man.
Yeah,
And once you have the formula, you can apply it to anyone.
Right.
yeah. And I'm interested in the book. I just was tired.
Sure you are.
So one thing I was just doing was looking at all of our, I'm not going to name our brand, but looking at our brand and everyone's website on our brand, and no one has a survey
Mm-mm.
on our brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yet.
No one yet.
Yep, that's going to be happening.
Okay, yeah, this is really good too. And I actually has this one idea right now in my head that sometimes people have a problem or they have a desire for a product, but they don't necessarily know the best solution. And sometimes they think they need this solution, but actually because you've researched and you have the answer to their problem, you can say no. You can offer them an optional solution that they did not know about. For example, in my niche when I do the relationship help, I never knew it would take off because but I realize there are no people who consult at this moment who I personally know about who consult for the different mentality issue. So I thought it could be good, but I didn't have that confidence and people reaching out to me saying, we don't know this exists. I hear this all the time. We don't know that this service even exists.
Yeah.
No, you just naturally knew like the foundation. I wish this is a completely different book, okay? So I'm not trying to go off the wall, but this is hard to find. You can't find them for like no less than $400 or $500. They're limited. But this is the godfather of copywriting. Okay, if the consumer is aware of your product and realizes that it can satisfy his desire, your headline starts with your product. If he's not aware of your product, but only the desire itself, your headline starts with the desire. If he's not yet aware of what he really seeks, but is only concerned with a general problem, your headline starts with the problem and crystallizes into a specific need. And that's crazy because you knew that naturally.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is such a great reassurance. Thank you.
That's why the avatar is very important, to know who you're writing to, who you're talking to, who you're selling to, and what courses to create for that avatar.
Wow.
Well, who's leading tomorrow?
Sean's leading tomorrow.
Did you screen freeze or is he just sitting still? Okay, I was wondering.
Oh, he's right there. Yeah, he was meditating.
No, I was typing something secret to Terrell.
Oh.
Well, that's not a secret, Chuck.
Yeah.
I'm also glad that you and Carol are on here. I want to add the books Start With Why and Find Your Why on the list, please.
Yeah. Start your why and find your why.
I checked out the list too. I got to tell you, I'm very excited, especially with this group when we dig into the 48 Laws of Power, because everybody in here is an intellectual. I can't wait for those discussions to start rolling around.
Yeah, that's an interesting book, by the way.
Yeah.
Which one? Which one?
48
Laws of Power.
They should give that out in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Carol and Chuck, you guys heard me?
No.
Chuck?
Well, I can see no one wrote it down. That's why I was asking.
Hang on.
Yolanda, did you see my note to you?
What's going on? There's a whole secret group.
There's all kind of secret conversations going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me today.
Let me read one thing again.
I just said I want to go out to dinner with Yolanda, and I want her to help me buy some shoes when I come to Florida this winter.
All right.
Oh, you going to Florida again?
Maybe,
This is your third time.
well,
Oh,
with
wow.
my- well, maybe with my.
I'm gonna have to sign in with my old account or get called Dealer Martech every day. Obviously.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Well,
I
okay,
got
guys.
It was
Thank
great,
you.
great to be back. I'll talk to you. You guys have a good
Great
day.
to have you back.
See you later, Sean.
Yeah.
Yolanda, I don't know what you said. We're working off our phone today, and I don't know how to use it.
Hey man, you enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy what you're doing, Chuck. I'm glad you guys are on the road again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can write it in the 5M book club.
God bless.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
But